games last year, so they're not really that far away. Now, the Eagles are on the clock. They're just the 6th team to have a top 10 pick after reaching the Super Bowl the previous season, lost that classic game to Kansas City, and the Eagles just made a deal to move up one spot to make this draft from 10 to 9.
They do that
a lot.
Yeah,
Howie Roseman does that a lot.
First of all, he can't sit still.
Yeah.
You know him. Second of all, it's always interesting when a team moves up one spot. It means they know someone's trying to leapfrog him for a player.
Yeah.
You would think maybe Jalen Carter at this point. I mean, he's paid enough price.
After the big guy last year, now you're going to go to Georgia again and get another one.
Remember, you've got Dean as well as linebacker. So you've got kind of a nucleus around that knows him and maybe knows how to work with him.
Boy, they could give a master class on how to build a roster and the way they move around.
Yeah, Howie Roseman does a really good job at that.
Yeah.
All right, Roger Goodell about to bring this pick out. Jalen Carter has some questions with some off-the-field issues. Really talented guy. Absent that, he might have been selected higher. If he is indeed the pick for the Philadelphia Eagles, he's been waiting for a while.
Oh, big fella. Kelsey's out there. Give him a beer. Give him a mic and a beer. He's ready. He's ready. I mean,
Jason Kelsey, who is the brother of the Chiefs star tight end Travis Kelsey. They
man of the people.
Yeah. And here is the commissioner.
9th pick to the Philadelphia Eagles. With the 9th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Jalen Carter, defensive tackle, Georgia.
And there it is.
He's got to block him now.
Well, if that's the case, he might need another one and maybe something stronger before it's all over. There is Jalen Carter, wildly talented defensive lineman from Georgia. There certainly were some issues off the field. He was involved in a misdemeanor charge of reckless driver racing in connection with a crash that killed a teammate and another University of Georgia staffer. He's from Apopka, Florida, which produced Hall of Fame defensive tackle Warren Sapp. So now another great defensive lineman out of that hotbed of football players. Jalen Carter on his way to Philadelphia. Here are some of the issues that I alluded to in mid-January, right after Georgia had celebrated its national championship. He was present at the scene. The crash that killed a couple of people. He left the combine to turn himself in. Ended up pleading no contest to those misdemeanor charges that I referred to. Then later showed up a little bit heavier. And he's a big man anyway, but a little bit heavier for the pro day. People raised some eyebrows about that, but you see the emotion because certainly this has been a difficult time for Jalen Carter as he has navigated through the off-the-field troubles to see how it would impact him personally and professionally.
You can make a very strong argument. Back-to-back national champions in college football, as good at defense as we saw 2 years ago, that he's the best player on, physically the best player on that defense over the last couple years. And when he decides to turn it on, he turns it on. Philly makes that move to pick him up. You look at their depth, this defensive line is dominant. The only thing is Fletcher Cox coming up in his 12th year. He's 32 years old. Wouldn't that be a perfect fit to put him in that defensive line with Jordan Davis, who they had last year? Brandon Graham has some age on him, Josh Sweat, and now you throw this guy in the middle of that. The good get better with Jalen Carter. Now they just got to make sure he's dialed in.
And Jordan Davis, as you mentioned, a structure around him really helps him. Jordan Davis, someone he knows well, as a teammate at Georgia.
Yeah, and N'Kobe Dean, one of the leaders of the defense as well, who's a third-round pick last year. So obviously Philly's done their work and they're comfortable with him. On tape, guys, he's the best player in this draft. Yeah. There's no one who can take over a game like him. And I'm talking about the quarterbacks, running back, doesn't matter.
With you.
He is the best player on the field. The problem is, what do you get in the other 6 days? And I hope for Jalen Carter, actions have consequences, right? The consequence here was that he dropped about 6 or 7 spots and probably lost $4 or $5 million over the next 5 years, right? But I hope this is a wake-up call for Jalen, because he can be as great as he wants to be. He's got to learn to be a self-starter. He's got to accept better coaching more frequently and openly. And he's just got to be more committed, because it would be an unbelievable waste to see all of his talent if he doesn't turn out to be one of the best to do it at defensive tackle.
You guys talk about Fletcher Cox, and Howie Roseman traded up to the 12th spot in 2012 to get Fletcher Cox. So this may be his replacement.
Yeah.
And you guys have touched upon it. I mean, he is the most talented defensive player in the draft, but he needs to mature a little bit. And I think Philly will be a great place for him to mature.
Let's check in with Laura Rutledge now.
Reese, in here in the green room, there are screens everywhere. So these moms, like Tony here, Jalen's mom, can see her son on the stage right now. He's a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. What are you feeling?
I'm blessed. I feel ecstatic. I'm so happy for him. I'm glad that he was able to make his childhood dream come true.
As you watch those dreams coming true, the tears were streaming down his face. What was it like to see him emotional like that?
Just to be strong for him. You know, I was like, because he's so tough, you know. I'm like, wow, he's emotional. So I know that this really means something special to him.
Congratulations, you guys enjoy it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Reese.
Laura, thank you. There is Kirby Smart, another one of his defenders. Last year, he had 5 Georgia Bulldogs selected in the first round, all from his national championship winning defense, 15 players overall. And Georgia has Jalen Carter go off the board there. We talked about some of his off-the-field issues, but it also should be fair to point out right now that he also has a big heart. With a walk-ons aren't always allowed to eat every meal with the team. He would make sure that the walk-ons got to eat in his place so that everybody got to feel they're part of the team. Susie Culver's with Jalen Carter.
Jalen, you're arguably the most talented player on the best team in the country, but this process felt unpredictable. How would you describe just the range of emotions that you've gone through over the last few months?
I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. I just want to thank God. I want to thank my mom, thank my family for being out here for me and supporting me. And, you know, it's time to work. The Eagles got the best player in the draft. I'm for the show it.
The Eagles guys got on the phone with you today. What did you tell them?
And I told them they got the best player in the draft. And, you know, day one, when I get there, it's time to work. And we're going to win the Super Bowl.
And you've got former teammates there already. What does that mean to you?
That means a lot. Jordan Davis and Kobe Dean, you know, I'm for the come there, talk to them guys, and we for the win.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Susie, Jalen, thank you very much.